So I've been getting this question lately on Twitter, on Instagram. Like, yo, how are these dudes hitting these parlay bets for millions of dollars? And Marco is just the next example of how we're doing this, man. Let's take a look at what this man just did, which is just insane of what he just did for $3 million sitting on the Broncos. Let's take a look. There's Marco right there. Talking about 1.6 cashed out. Baby. We going for the house. We going for it all. And there he is talking about how he's not taking this 1.6 cash out, putting on the lucky watch, letting folks know. And I think with this guy, man, this guy is kind of surreal. So when you look at the history of betting, the history of betting is that the best bettors in the world have always been straight bettors. Obviously, that ain't the wave no more. This wave of parlay party bettors have been here for a while. It's not going anywhere, and there's going to be a lot of Marcos out there. But here's another question for you. He won $3 million on this parlay bet. How many bets you think parlay bets he put in? And for me, I think that it's a volume of bets. He's putting in he has to be. There's no really way around it. The parlay bettors that I know that bet parlays for a living, they put in volume. They're putting in anywhere at least 8 to 15 parlays every time. So when you think of that type of volume in terms of your parlays, you have to understand your scope and what you have to do from to hit from a percentage standpoint. So typically, a parlay is about 15 or 16% win rate, meaning that out of every 10, you'll probably hit like one and a half. And counting on how much money you're putting on parlays and what your payout is, you probably won't break even for one out of every 10. So most professional bettors, you have to bet about 55, at least 55% to be a professional bettor. Your casual bettors, your regular bettors, they bet almost probably about 50% of the time, and their win rate is about 50% of the time. So if you think about the percentage, a professional bettor is probably about 6 or 7% better than your average bettor, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in the scope of money, that's a lot. Think about the stock market, like I always said. We can relate stock market talk to sports betting talk. So what do they always say when you're doing the stock market? You put your money into the S&P 500, you get an average return of about 10%, and next thing you know, in 30 or 40 years, you have $1.3 million because of compound interest. Because and that's a return. But if you understand in the market, when you do dollar cost average, the market fluctuates up and down, just like in sports betting. Your bets are going to go up and down, up and down. Obviously, a little bit more volatile in sports betting where you have to win more than you lose. But at the same notion, the same concepts are there. So say we build in the volatility that you would get from sports betting. If you get to 7% return on your money year after year, you're still making pretty decent good money at the end of the day and having a really decent profit at the end of the day. So when you think of that type of concepts and you think of that type of volume, it's not hard to believe that you could master the parlay bet as Marco seems like he's doing at this moment because all we see is winners. And it's always good to, kind of show people that you lose every once in a while. He hasn't won every bet, but it's just the wins are so magnified because he's winning millions of dollars. It's becoming ridiculous. And it's just like, yo, should I get in this game? The question is maybe we should get in the game. Maybe we should get in the game of volume betting parlays. But you have to understand you got to be able to take on the waves, baby. You got to be able to take on these losses that could come from this. So be very careful when you jump into this game because when you start betting parlays, you have to be able to stomach the losses because there's going to be a lot of them until you can find your strategy to bet parlays and win like some of these guys are doing. Is it luck? Could be. It's a little bit of luck at everything, I think. But once he starts doing it often, that you got to kind of take the luck factor out of it and think that the kid is on to something. So, man, shout out to Marco to killing the parlays. We're going to deep dive more into how we can strategize in the winning parlays. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification, and make sure you come back because we're going to be working this thing, man. We're going to figure out the way of how he's doing this and how we winning money. There's a strategy to everything. There's an algorithm to everything, and we will figure it out. This is Moss Money, Money Pop Podcast.